20 years ago, there was this graffiti on the corner of Prince and Green Street on the post office. Remember the post office? Yeah, before it moved around the corner to a cubby hole, then closed because now we all use email, and left a big space for restoration hardware to move in, open up, close down, Apple to move in. Anyway, this graffiti said, everything happens everywhere, all over, all the time, all at once. I think about that, because that, for me, is sort of showbiz. Underneath those words was the signature Samo. That's Jean-Michel Basquiat, the painter. I knew him when he was broke, sleeping with my best friend and borrowing lime green 60s shirts I bought at Manic Panic on St. Mark's. It's now a hairdresser. Anyway, Jean became famous, became dead, became an addition to art museum permanent collections, and a few years ago, Jean got made into a movie. The research people called me for specifics. I refused to talk. How could I have lived long enough for my life to be somebody else's material? But that's what Showbiz Monologues is all about. The intersecting life and art of these four people, Lola, Valda, me, and somebody, as material. I say this to you because I only just figured it out at the moment I typed it. An hour and a half before I typed it, which is 2 days before I read it to you right now, which is actually 9 years before I read it to you right now. Anyway, I called Lola to verify at what theater Fortune's Fool is running. She said, oh, you know, Alan Bates, he stars in Fortune's Fool. And then Lola launched into a story of the 1969 Broadway production of Look Back in Anger, starring Alan Bates and featuring bisexuality. I always remember one line, Lola says. Bates had to say, you don't understand. I love these two people. Lola pauses. It was a woman and a man he loved. We had not seen this kind of thing on stage ever. Oh, we'd had Tea and Sympathy, you know, veiled homo plays. But this was a frank discussion. I called my father to tell him this really juicy stuff, and he says, not Alan Bates, it was Richard Burton. And that's Showbiz Monologues. The life, the artist, the art they saw, the art they forgot they saw, and what happened just before the curtain went up and just after it went down. Remember Lily Tomlin's one-woman Broadway show? Not the revival, the first time. Search for intelligent signs, blah, 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 blah. Trudy, the bag lady, holds up 2 identical cans of Campbell's chicken soup. She says, art, soup. Soup, art. So good. So when did I see art and soup could be the same thing? Oh, I know. It was a musical on Broadway, The Boyfriend. It opened in 1970, starring Judy Carn, now forgotten, and not even part of the online cast list, so probably I'm wrong. It also starred Sandy Duncan before she got in the car accident, got the glass eyes, took the field of wheat, eating wheat things. Anyway, my mother took me to see The Boyfriend because her friend, David Vaughan, now the historian of the Merce Cunningham Dance Company, had a featured role in it as a middle-aged Englishman, which is actually what he was. The musical had set in the 1920s with period songs, costumes. Afterwards, we went round. Now, Americans say we went backstage or we went back. My English mother says, oh, we went round. So we did. We stood in a dressing room as my mother spoke to this woman who minutes before on stage had been a very French lady in a headdress, now in stocking cap and this un-French accent. She pointed to my mother's dress and said, is it real? I didn't understand the question. Is it real? It was blue silk velvet. I am a fag, I remember. It had a dropped waist and short flared skirt. Of course it's real, my mother said. Paris flea market, she said. You can just tell, said the young French lady. I'd say, what, 1926? She said this, then pointing to her costume, the one I'd just seen on stage when she was pretending to be someone else and French. And she touched her costume and said, mine is real too. Two dresses, both from the 20s, both now in the 70s, one a costume on stage and one an outfit off stage, but both real art and soup.